My startup, Make Love Not Porn, is a total accident. I never set out to do anything that I'm doing currently. It derives from direct personal experience. I date younger men who tend, for the most part, to be men in their 20s. And it was through dating younger men that I began realizing about 7 or 8 years ago now, so this is before the media ever picked up on any of this, I began realizing that I was encountering an issue that quite frankly would never have crossed my mind if I'd not encountered it very intimately and personally, which is what happens when two things converge. When today's total freedom of access to hardcore porn online meets our society's equally total reluctance to talk openly and honestly about sex, and results in porn becoming by default the sex education today in not a good way. I found myself encountering a number of, if you like, sexual behavioral memes. I went, whoa, I know where that behavior is coming from. I thought, if I'm experiencing this, other people must be as well. And being a very action-oriented person, I decided I wanted to do something about it. So 6 years ago, I put up on no money a very basic, clunky little website at makelovenotporn.com that posts the myths of hardcore porn and balances them with reality. So the construct is porn world versus real world. I had the opportunity to launch it at the TED conference, and I took a deliberate decision to be very explicit in my TED talk because I knew that audience wouldn't get this issue unless I was very straightforward about it. As a result, I am to this day the only TED speaker ever to utter the words "come on my face" on the TED stage, 6 times in succession. The talk went viral as a result, and it drove an extraordinary response to Make Love Not Porn that I had never anticipated. The most extraordinary thing was not just instantly huge amounts of traffic to the site from every country in the world, so it went global without my doing anything about it, but every single day for the past 6 years, and this is ongoing, I've received thousands of emails to my Make Love Not Porn inbox, and they come from everybody. They come from young and old, men and female, straight and gay, from every country in the world, and even before the actual site I put up, what amazes people is simply the fact that I stood on stage in public, I talked about, and I'm doing something about what everybody knows and no one ever speaks about. And as a result, people feel able to tell me anything. They pour their hearts out to me in email. They tell me things about their sex lives and their porn-watching habits they've never told anyone else before. They write for advice. 15-year-old boys write for advice. 50-year-old women write for advice. And it was the sheer cumulative impact of all of those emails arriving day after day after day that eventually made me feel that I now had a personal responsibility to take this initiative forwards in a way that would make it much more far-reaching, helpful, and effective. So what I decided to do, therefore, was I always have to emphasize that Make Love Not Porn is not anti-porn. The issue isn't porn. The issue is the total absence in our society of an open, healthy, honest conversation around sex in the real world, which, if we had it, would, among many other benefits, also mean people would then bring a real-world mindset when they view what is essentially artificial entertainment. Our tagline is pro-sex, pro-porn, pro-knowing the difference, and our mission is purely and simply to help make it easier for people to talk about it. Talk about sex openly and honestly in the public domain, and talk about sex openly and honestly privately in their intimate relationships. And the reason that's important is because most overly porn-influenced sexual behavior is driven by the best of all possible motives and not the worst. Because we all get very vulnerable when we get naked. Sexual egos are very fragile. People therefore find it bizarrely difficult to talk about sex with the people they're actually having it with while they're actually having it. Because you are terrified that if you say anything at all about what's going on, if you comment on the action in any way at all, you will potentially hurt the other person's feelings, you'll put them off you, you'll derail the encounter, you'll potentially derail the entire relationship, but at the same time you want to please your partner, you want to make them happy. You will seize your cues on how to do that from anywhere you can. And if the only cues you've ever seen to be given from porn, those are the ones you'll take to not very good effect. And so what I decided to do, therefore, was to take every dynamic that exists out there in social media currently and apply them to the one area that no other social network or platform is ever going to go, sex, in order to make real-world sex and the discussion around it socially acceptable, and therefore just as socially shareable as anything else we share on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. So 2 years ago, my team and I launched in public beta makelovenotporn.tv, which is an entirely user-generated, crowdsourced video sharing platform that celebrates real-world sex. It's a .com site brought to life. I'm a great believer in communication through demonstration. So anybody from anywhere in the world can submit videos of themselves having real-world sex. We're very clear what we mean by that. We are not porn, we're not amateur, we are something completely different that nobody else is doing. This is not performative. It's not about performing for the camera, it's about capturing what goes on in the real world, in all its funny, messy, glorious, silly, wonderful, beautiful humanness. We curate, we watch every video to make sure it's real, we don't publish it unless it is, and we have a revenue-sharing business model. So part of the sharing economy, just like Uber and Airbnb, you pay to rent and stream real-world sex videos, and then 50% of that income goes to you, our contributor, or as we like to call you, our Make Love Not Porn star.